Hello everyone, welcome you all to Civil Services Achievers Point, and today we are going to start with the current affairs class of 29th. I'm extremely sorry for not being able to provide the lectures of the last two days because I have been traveling for some work, and today we'll be continuing for all the three sessions. Okay, for 29th, 30 and 31st we'll be doing it and we'll be completing it up, and after that we'll be also coming up with the live session for the prelims capsule course with the defense and space topics. Okay, so I'll just wait for a few 1 or 2 minutes at max so that a few of the students join in, and then we can start with this lecture. Please let me know if my voice is clear enough and if I'm audible enough for all of you to hear and understand what I'm talking right now. If anyone of you can hear my voice, please write yes in the comment section. Can you hear my voice? Anyone, if you can please comment in the comment section if you can hear my voice clearly. All right. Thank you so much for your feedback. So we can begin with today's session. I had to manage with the time, and I could not take it at night on yesterday and day before yesterday because I was traveling for some work, and even now I'm not back to Guwahati. I'm staying in Upper Assam somewhere. So let's begin with the current affairs class of 29th of July. Okay, and I request all of you to stay with me. Today we'll be taking the class for at least 2 hours, where we'll be completing 29th, 30th and 31st, that is of today's current affairs, also of last 2 days and today. All right, so let me share the screen with all of you and let us begin with the class of 29th July. I hope you can see this screen and we are good to start with today's class. All right, so I welcome you all to Civil Service Achievers Point, and today we are going to start with the 29th July 2021 the Assam Tribune analysis. And you know that in Civil Service Achievers Point, we have been offering you a lot of exciting courses in our application, which is available both in the Playstore as well as in the Apple iStore. You can go there and download the app and look at all the exciting courses. We have also recently launched the Prelims Capsule course for the upcoming APSC Prelims, of which the date has been declared as 12th of September. And today also we'll be taking up a class on the Prelims Capsule course, all right, after we end the 3 classes for the current affairs. So with this, the today's content, that is of 29th of July, all right, the content that we have picked up in the form of news are basically first 4 important news that we need to talk about is India-US relationship, okay, where Jaishankar and Blinken hold talks on wide-ranging issues. Okay, so we'll look at it, what are the issues that have been discussed around where we need to talk about the India-US relationship. After that, you can see here the US Secretary of State meets representative of Dalai Lama in India. So India, China and India Tibetan recognition becomes important here. After that, we will talk about the Chandrayaan III launch, okay, which has been rescheduled to third quarter of 2022. So that is again a very important news for your prelims exam, especially. Then we have the progress of Jal Jeevan Mission scheme, which was reviewed at Tejpur. Okay, so I have been already talking about the Jal Jeevan Mission scheme, and this is again one of the very important and flagship scheme of the recent initiatives of the government, and this can be a very important topic, or you can expect a probable question in the upcoming exam, both in the prelims as well as in the mains. All right, then we have two important another news, and that talks about the government clears amendment to Limited Liability Partnership Act. Now this becomes also very important from economics perspective and GS3 perspective in your mains about the limited liability companies. What is the difference between limited liability or a partnership company or a company under the Companies Act of 2013? All right, so that is what we need to see. And after that, we have important event that is going on, that is a clashes on Armenia and Azerbaijan border. So you see that whenever this kind of places are available in the news, so we need to plot them in the map, or at least know about the important locations near it, so that we can be very comfortable in the questions coming from the map based topics in your prelims. Mainly in the prelims you expect, or you can get a lot of map-based questions. All right, so let's move ahead. And the first news that we can talk about is about the Jaishankar and Blinken hold talks on wide-ranging issues. All right. So this is important from your General Studies paper 2, and here we have the governance, constitution, welfare initiative, social justice, and international relations. So this topic basically is important from your IR perspective, that is international relations. And here we need to be thorough about the India-US relationship. But now we are not going in details about India-US, but we'll specifically talk about this particular development. So Jaishankar, you know that he was a IFS officer, okay, and after his retirement, he has been the Minister of External Affairs of a country as Jaishankar, and US Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Wednesday began talks covering an extensive agenda that included rapidly evolving security situation in Afghanistan, because you know that Afghanistan is the heartland, okay, or of the Central Asia, and Afghanistan has been a very important, a bone of contention for many countries, and a lot of countries have come there but have had to leave or vacate Afghanistan. Even Russia had to vacate earlier, and then now the US armies have to vacate the Afghanistan. Now, as the US army is vacating from Afghanistan, you know that the Taliban is again regaining its control, and if Taliban again regains its control, and there is conflict again reappearing in Afghanistan, it is in fact a problem for India too, because India is also very much involved with Afghanistan because of so many projects or so many different kinds of investment, and India is also has already developed a lot of infrastructural development, like Gyaan quadrilateral highway. India has already invested for the Parliament of Afghanistan. India is interested in the natural gas of those particular areas. India has a good access to Pakistan from the other side, if it is having a good access to Afghanistan through Iran, because you know Afghanistan is a landlocked country. In fact, Afghanistan is also important for India because of the access to Tajikistan and natural gas, or and also you know that there was a project of Tapi gas pipeline, okay, Tajikistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India. From that perspective also Afghanistan became really important for India. And apart from that, India is also interested in working in the north-south transit corridor, that is a transit corridor from the north to northern hemisphere to southern hemisphere, and this also becomes very important, okay, because it goes to via Afghanistan and Iran. So India is also very much interested in, and since Afghanistan is holding, it's like a buffer state, all right, it's like a buffer state between so many important different other powerful nations, and whosoever rules in Afghanistan actually rules the entire Central Asian region. And in order to get access to the different types of minerals or resources, you need to have a very good relationship with Afghanistan. So US vacating out from Afghanistan and Taliban, if it again regains its control, and again if terrorism kind of activities or extremism kind of activities appears in Afghanistan, it will create a havoc in the situation and ultimately worsen up the relations with different in the current geostrategical locations. All right. So since US is moving out, so India also is also in discussion with US regarding Afghanistan and its future. So that was discussed in the India-US bilateral talks and ways to boost India-Pacific engagement. So India-US is always engaged with the issues of Afghanistan. Then the India-Pacific engagement needs to be boosted up, and also how to enhance the COVID-19 response efforts, among others. Now, out of all those, the primary important one that India-US relations, if we see here, the economic relations, and under the Joe Biden, that is the current president after Donald Trump administration, India's trade with the US could recover the dip since 2017-18, because you know that during the Donald Trump's administration, the US administration was basically focused and interested upon American first policy. Okay, and they were not very much supporting with the with the trend of globalization, and they were very much focusing on the protectionism policies in terms of economy. So there was a dip. That is why in the trade relation between India and US, but now again it has showed signs of recovery. So the trade surplus you will see here, India has always had a trade surplus with the US. The trade surplus has widened from US dollar 5.2 billion in 2001, approximately around, to US dollar 17.3 billion dollars in 2021. Trade surplus had peaked up at US dollar 21.2 billion in 2017-18 and has moderated to some extent. All right. So you can see here that for India, US economy is very, very important, and India is having a trade surplus with the American market. All right. So next, if you see here the trade in services, and India accounts for nearly 5% of the US's services. Now, if you see here that why India is actually the trade surplus is because India is offering a lot of services actually in the services sector. Okay, a lot of American companies, its telecalling job has been outsourced to Indian services companies, or in fact they have even opened up their baby companies or their branches in India, right? So from that perspective also India is earning a lot, and that is why we have a trade surplus with America. And trade in services, you will see here, India accounts for nearly 5% of the US services imports from the world. All right, so out of 100%, whatever services USA is importing, 5% of it is been imported from India. So known in detail about the balance of trade on the okay. So about the balance of trade, if you want to know, you can refer to our economics classes in the foundation course of prelims, which is available in the App Store. All right. Next, the investment. The US is the fifth biggest source for foreign direct investment into India. Now, these are very, very important from exam perspective. All right, because here you can see that. Here you can see. Okay, just give me 1 second. Yeah, so here you can see that this kind of relations and this kind of ranks are very important from an exam perspective. In terms of FDI, foreign direct investment also, okay, US is the fifth biggest source, all right, and only Mauritius, Singapore, Netherlands, and Japan have invested more FDI since 2000. So India is getting a lot of investments from Mauritius and Singapore. Now again, you know that India is having a double taxation avoidance agreement with Mauritius, Singapore, and one more country, that is Cyprus, which is an island nation present in Mediterranean Sea. Okay, so ये Mauritius सबसे largest. Now again यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा issues है, जैसे money laundering हो गया, ठीक है. Now those kind of issues we won't discuss now because double taxation avoidance agreement is actually enhancing or promoting the your issues of money laundering and everything. But वहाँ से इसीलिए इंडिया का ही पैसा घूम के दोबारा मॉरिशस से FDI होके इंडिया में ही इन्वेस्ट होता है, but that the maximum of portions of money is actually going out of India, which is the black money. But we will discuss that. We can discuss that in a later time period. But you should know that in terms of legal papers, Mauritius is providing us the highest amount of FDI, and after that Singapore, Netherlands, and Japan, and fifth is the US. All right. So you can see this kind of informations. After that, you have US generalized system of preference. Okay, now there is a concept of GSP. Okay, now in prelims you might simply get about what you mean by GSP. Okay, so India's exclusion from the US generalized system of preference. So India has been now if you are like, now why it was excluded India, because again I have been telling you that during the last 4 years of Donald Trump presidentship, okay, they were focusing more on the America first policy, and India had actually suffered a lot. In fact, they had made their visa rules very strict. Okay, you can see we can even talk about H1B visa. Okay, now H1B visa is a non-immigrant visa. Okay, where you don't get an immigration, you cannot go and settle there. You can only go there for your professional or occupation or job perspective. Okay, that too if you are a technical expertise and you've worked in a specialty occupation. Okay, and your company has sent you, so you can go there. And but again, like during the Donald Trump administration, this visa regime had been severely curtailed. Okay, and owing to the America first policy. Now all these things, during these things, you can see here it is written here that in 2019 President Donald Trump had terminated India's designation as a beneficiary developing nation under GSP trade program. So India was actually moved out of the GSP, generalized system of preference. Okay, and this is a system of preference where if USA is developing a trade relation with a particular country, and if that country is within the GSP trade program, so they get some benefits. Okay, they get some benefits and they get some equitable and reasonable access to the markets without, for example, you can talk about like the extra amount of taxes which are put into the products coming from outside countries are not put. Okay, and you get a reasonable access to the markets. So that definitely gives you a profit margin, a good amount of profit margin, and a good amount of competition with the US products too. But if it has been removed from the GSP, then you don't get those benefits, and then it hampers your trade relation. So during this time period, during the Donald Trump's presidency, India had to suffer a lot during the recent modifications in the external policies of America. Okay, now but after that, now in this recent discussion, whatever it is going on between Joe Biden and India, all right, so here you can see that now BECA is there in news. Now this has been already asked in your UPSC prelims. Okay, now there are basically 4 types of special agreements that India and US has signed. Okay, now BECA is a part of, first of all, you need to be very, very comfortable with the full form of BECA, okay, because they can ask you about a full form of BECA too, and it simply means Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement. Now there are various types of agreements in terms, even under WTO, that is World Trade Organization. Now you need to know those things. In fact, for example, Free Trade Agreement or Preferential Trade Agreement. All right. Now those type of agreements also needs to be very, very clear for your exam perspective, but we'll not discuss those things here as of now. Okay, but let us now first of all understand what is BECA, and the full form basically means Basic Exchange Cooperation Agreement. Okay, and it is a pact or communication agreement proposal for geospatial cooperation. Okay, so see, in prelims you might simply get a question on about BECA. Okay, and it deals with what? It deals with the geospatial cooperation between the Ministry of Defense of the Government of India and the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency of the US Department of Defense. So please be very, very specific that this BECA agreement is an agreement between whom. Okay, now that you need to know, and that is a very, very important part. All right, so this Defense of Government, so the Ministry of Defense of India and National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, NGIA of US Department of Defense, so these two are cooperating to share the geospatial details. Okay, so this is also for the defense, and in terms of war and everything, this will be very helpful, and it will enable the two countries to share military information and strengthen their defense partnership. Okay, so this is to strengthen the defense partnership between the two countries, and it will also allow each country to share their military informations. Okay, now BECA completes the foundational pacts for deep military cooperation between the two countries, because I told you that there are basically 4 different types of agreements in terms of this military cooperation, and here you can see that we have one LEMOA, one COMCASA, and the third one is GSOMIA. Okay, and these 3 along with BECA, these 4 are the foundational pacts for deep military cooperation between India and US. So you need to be very clear about GSOMIA, that is General Security of Military Information Agreement, and this was signed in 2002. Now India has already signed this in 2002, that covered the area of security and military information. Okay, so please be very specific with this. Then in the UPSC is already asked about LEMOA. Okay, and in 2000, because it was signed in 2016, and I think this question came in 2017. Okay, and this Logistic Exchange Memorandum of Agreement covering logistics exchange and communications between again India and US. Okay, so this is basically about the sharing of your ports and for refueling of your navy and everything. So this is about the logistics exchange and communications. And third one, COMCASA, was signed in 2018, which is for compatibility and security, and this is communications compatibility and security agreement. Now all these 3 have been signed, and now India is talking about the BECA agreement. Okay, and now after that, so this was the basically update. Okay, and now BECA has been already signed, and now this 4 has made us develop the foundational pact between India and US in terms of military agreement and coordination. So please be very specific with this 4, because this is very important for your upcoming exam about the USP. Okay, sorry, about the GSP, that is your generalized system of preference. All right, and also about the FDI investment and the trade surplus and the trade in services, that 5% India shares the total of the total share in terms of input of services. Okay, so please be very specific about this development. This is very, very important. It can definitely come in your exam. All right, now moving ahead, I hope everything is going clear and you all are with me. Yes, Ajanta Kolita, we will be talking about, we'll be definitely talking about Assamese literature and awards, okay, and related topics too. Prithviraj, please detail syllabus of preliminary on WhatsApp. It is already available in our website, Prithviraj. You can check www.csap.co.in. It is already available in our website. All right, so let's move ahead. The next important topic that we can talk about again between India and US Secretary of State meets representative of Dalai Lama in India. Okay, now what is Dalai Lama? It is a title given. Okay, now please be very specific. This type of questions can definitely be expected in a prelims. All right, so Dalai Lama is a title given by the Tibetan people, so you need to be very clear that it is given by the Tibetan people and not by the Chinese. Okay, and they belong to a different school of Buddhism. Now we know that in art and culture we study about different schools of Buddhism, right? Like Mahayana form of Buddhism, okay, Vajrayana, Theravada, okay, or Hinayana form of Buddhism. Now you need to be very, very thorough with this kind of topics, because this kind of topics are normally coming in the exam. And Hinayan, or which is the greatest wheel of school of Buddhism, or lesser wheel of Buddhism, okay, which is the original form of Buddhism, or which is a bit corrupted one. Okay, now what is Bodhisattva concept, or who is Maitri? All right, now this kind of topics are normally coming, and these are all available in our smart books. You can download our CSAP app and you can look at our smart books. Okay, you can subscribe to it, and it has been really prepared well, so you can definitely expect a lot of common questions from our smart books. So please, if you've not subscribed it, do subscribe it from our application. Okay, so Dalai Lama belong to which school of Buddhism? Now this is a very important one. It can be expected in the upcoming exam, and he is a very spiritual leader, okay, of the Gelug or Yellow Hat school of Tibetan Buddhism. So this becomes really important about the Gelug or Yellow Hat school of Tibetan Buddhism, and the newest of the classical schools of Tibetan Buddhism. So this is one of the newest. Now this kind of statements can be put forward in your prelims exam. It can be given like this is the oldest of the classical schools of Tibetan Buddhism, and you might think, the दलाई लामा तो इतने दिनों से हम लोग सुन रहे, तो obviously it may be the oldest, but obviously not. Buddhism is here from since last 2500 years, okay, at least in India. So you need to be know that this is one of the newest form, okay. And the 14th and current Dalai Lama is what? Tenzin Gyatso. Now this is a very important fact. This can be expected in your exam. So the current Dalai Lama is 14th number, and his name is Tenzin Gyatso. And the Dalai Lamas are believed to be the manifestations of Avalokiteshvara, okay, or Chengrejik, the Bodhisattva of compassion and patron saint of Tibet, okay. So it is believed that, again, that you should be very comfortable with the concept of Bodhisattva. It has been already asked in the prelims of UPSC, and the same question can be or maybe picked up by APSC too. Okay, now Bodhisattva are the ones who are looking for the nirvana, okay, for the attainment of nirvana at a universal level. Okay, even if you get a nirvana, you are also responsible in helping others to get nirvana. Okay, now this is a concept of Bodhisattva under Buddhism, and one of the Bodhisattvas who went to to the Tibet, okay, and that is like believed to be the manifestations of Avalokiteshvara, who was the Bodhisattva or a saint who went to Tibet. Okay, now Avalokiteshvara is again a very, very important one. All right, now this you need to know from your prelims perspective. And US Secretary Antony Blinken met with a representative of Dalai Lama in New Delhi during his official visit to India, and that is why Dalai Lama is in news, and you need to be very clear about this basic facts for your exam perspective. The Bodhisattvas are realized beings inspired by wish to attain Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings who have vowed to be reborn in the world to help humanity. Okay, so they are talking about a universal level for everyone. All right, now since it is a news, so you need to be also clear about the India's Tibet policy. And you know that for centuries, for a lot of years, Tibet was actually India's actual neighbor, okay, not China, okay, because initially Tibet was not a part of China. And you see, this is the map of India. This is the LOC that you can talk about, and this is the portion which has been occupied by Kashmir, and this area is the Aksai Chin, which was occupied by China. All right, and this particular area has been given by Pakistan to China, and through this area only your China-Pakistan Economic Corridor CPEC corridor has been developed, okay, and which is linking the Gyaan province of China to the Gwadar port of Pakistan. And China is actually again trying to encircle India from this part, and their access to the resources of Middle East and West Asia is being shortened down through this particular road. Okay, so this actually is also challenging a lot to India's geostrategical locations and very vulnerable border positions. But at the same time, India too is coming out with the necklace of diamond in order to counter this string of pearls theory and one belt one road initiative of China. And the CPEC is also coming under OBOR policy of China. So you see here that Tibet was India's actual neighbor as most of India's boundaries, and 3500-kilometer LAC is with the Tibetan autonomous region and not the rest of China. Okay, so there you see here. Now if I ask you that which international border is the longest with India, it is actually of Bangladesh. Okay, so the Bangladesh border with India is the longest one now. Okay, and after that it is China. Okay, so in 1914 it was Tibetan representatives along with the Chinese that signed a Simla Convention, which Simla Convention, you need to be very thorough about this. 1914 with British India that delineated the boundaries. Okay, and however after China's full accession of Tibet, okay, China got into full access of Tibet only in 1950, that China repudiated this convention. This convention ko neglify kiya, and the McMahon line that divided the two countries. Okay, now even China, one side China has been talking about a Tibet is a part of it along with Taiwan, and India also signed an agreement with China in 1954, और उसमें इंडिया ने गलती कर दिया कि इंडिया ने तिब्बत को एज अ रीजन ऑफ चाइना रिकॉग्निशन दे दिया था. ऑलराइट, इंडिया को भी उस टाइम एक कंडीशन लगाना था कि ये जो पीओके एरिया है, बिकॉज तब तक पीओके ऑलरेडी इंडिया से जा चुका था, तो इंडिया वुड हैव ऑलरेडी सेड दैट इफ you recognize Aksai Chin and POK as a part of India, we will recognize Tibet as a part of China. Now this kind of certain like hard power diplomacy should have been showed at that time period. Now in 1959, following the Tibetan uprising at that time period. A lot of uprising was going through. The Dalai Lama, who is a spiritual leader, okay, and he actually fled to India, and India gave him the refugee, okay, and that also deteriorated the relationship between India and China. So the official Indian policy is that Dalai Lama is a spiritual leader, and the Tibetan community in India with more than lakh exiles, okay, उस time से बहुत 1 लाख से, if you even go to Delhi, वहाँ पे कुछ North Delhi में कुछ locations है, okay, now वहाँ पे आपको Tibetan community also you can see there, okay, so is not allowed to undertake any political activity. All right, so India has been saying that these are the spiritual leaders and the Tibetan community which they are saying in India, they cannot be allowed to undertake any political activity here. All right, so this is the stand of India, and this is what basically about the Tibetan policy, but we need to know this particular news because of the visit of Dalai Lama and the meeting of US Secretary of State and the representative of Dalai Lama in India. All right, so next important news that we need to talk about is about the Chandrayaan III launch rescheduled to 3rd quarter of 2022. Now this is again a very important particular news, because whatever important topics that comes up from the space or defense perspective, you can definitely expect a question in your upcoming exam. So you see here, when we talk about the Chandrayaan III, okay, now because of the pandemic, its launch has been delayed, and let us now go through, and it has been delayed to the 3rd quarter of 2022. That means you can talk about from July to almost September, October, this time period, July to September of next year, not of this year, okay, so it has been almost postponed by another 1 year, okay, the launch of Chandrayaan III. So as the name suggests, the Chandrayaan III is the successor to the Chandrayaan II mission, obviously, okay, and you see here that it will likely attempt another soft landing on the lunar surface, okay. It will be almost a repetition of the July 2019 Chandrayaan II mission in the configuration of spacecraft, the landing spot on the moon, and the experiments to be conducted on the lunar surface. So although scores of landers sent by Russia, the US and the Chinese have explored the moon's surface, so far no other agency has landed in the southern hemisphere of the moon. ISRO hopes to be the first to do so. So this is a very important statement for your exam perspective, that ISRO is, because in the southern hemisphere of the moon, okay, because we can divide the moon into 2 parts, that is northern and southern hemisphere, and in the southern hemisphere no other country has been able to land, okay, safely land its landers, but India is going to do it. And as per ISRO, the total cost of Chandrayaan mission 3 will be over rupees 600 crores, and in comparison the total cost of Chandrayaan 2 mission was 960 crores, okay, so this time with a less amount of money it is going to be possible. So Gaganyaan, announced by the Prime Minister in August 2018, is a 10,000 crore Indian human space flight scheduled for 22. Now this is a very important mission for India, okay, this is a human space flight mission of India, okay, and that is known as Gaganyaan, and it is designed to have 3 to 7 crew members spend 3 to 7 days in space in a 400-kilometer orbit, okay. Now this is a really important one. So what is the orbit? Okay, 400-kilometer orbit, and 3 to 7 crew members will spend the time in the space for 3 to 7 days. Recently Jeff Bezos has returned from the space with a very beautiful journey of 11 minutes, okay, and I hope you have gone through that particular news. And the first of the 2 pre-Gaganyaan flights with a humanoid will be launched in 2020, and along with some of the 6 shortlisted microgravity experiments, but this has been delayed because of the COVID-19. And ISRO has already constituted an advisory committee for the Gaganyaan, all right. And ISRO has also identified 4 astronomers whose training will commence in Russia from January 2020. So India is collaborating with Russia for Gaganyaan. Now simple question can be expected in your exam, that with whom India has collaborated for its Gaganyaan mission. Next important news. So you talk about the Chandrayaan III and the Gaganyaan, you can definitely expect a question in your upcoming exam. Apart from that, if we can go ahead with the next important news, okay, and you can see here that here we can talk about the progress of Jal Jeevan Mission scheme reviewed at H4. Now Jal Jeevan Mission scheme is a very important scheme, okay, and it envisages supply of 55 liters of water per day to every water per person per day. Okay, so एक फैमिली में कितने लोग हैं उसके हिसाब से मल्टीप्लाई हो जाएगा इसका, ठीक है, कैपेसिटी, एंड टू एवरी रूरल हाउसहोल्ड through functional household tap connections by 2024. So please be very thorough with the target year, because sometimes of the schemes you are also asked about the target year and what is the, who are the beneficiary list. Okay, what is the beneficiary list, you need to know that. And while knowing about this, you need to know that every rural household will be getting this water connection, safe drinking water, and 55 liters of water per person per day will be received under the Jal Jeevan Mission. And this is functional household tap connection. So it is functional, has to be functional one, and the second one is that it is a household one. Okay, so it will be delivered to every household, each household, and this will be done by 2024. So Jal Jeevan Mission focuses on integrated demand and supply side management of water at a local level, creation of local infrastructure for sources, sustainability measures as mandatory elements. So all these things, definitely the local infrastructure has to be worked upon, rainwater harvesting, okay, groundwater research. Then you can even talk about the management of household wastewater for reuse would be undertaken in convergence with other government programs and schemes. So whatever other different government schemes are going on to replenish the groundwater, or the management of household wastewater for reuse or recycle, okay, and even rainwater harvesting. Now for this type of different work, there are different types of schemes going on, and all will be converged under the Jal Jeevan Mission. So this is a very important development and update for your exam, because in the statement based questions you might be asked about about this particular fact, that whether they are being converged within that particular scheme and program or not. The mission is based on a community approach, so this is a very good step. Definitely a community support and coordination will be required in order to make this kind of massive flagship schemes a success. Okay, and it includes extensive information, education, and communication is a key component of the mission. Okay, and JJM looks to create Jan Andolan for water. All right, and they were making it everyone's priority. And funding pattern, you please see this, because this is a very important one. And funding pattern between center and states will be 90:10%. Okay, for Himalaya and northeastern states. So Himalaya और northeastern states के लिए आपका 90% center provide करेंगे and 10% state provide करेंगे, while 50-50% for other states. ठीक है, अलग स्टेट, बिकॉज यहाँ पे क्या है कि ड्यू टू ज्योग्राफिकल टेरेन एंड थोड़ा सा बैकवर्ड होने के कारण पैसे ज्यादा आता है फ्रॉम गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, बट इन अदर स्टेट्स 50% will be provided by the center and 50% will be provided by the state. All right, and लेकिन for the union territories it will be 100%. Okay, so this kind of certain factual things are also coming in the exam, and the central government has recently released the operational guidelines for Jal Jeevan Mission. Okay, now this is a news that is important for your prelims perspective, but at the same time in the mains it is having a lot of impacts on different dimensions. For example, even on what women empowerment you can talk about Jal Jeevan Mission. Okay, why? Because now you are getting the water available at your household. Women do not have to go out and waste a lot of time. Okay, in fact they can give that time for their own recreation, or for their own job, or the skill enhancement and everything, and it will definitely boost up for the women empowerment. So it is also protecting and coming as a rescue for the security, because like when they have to go out, okay, to fetch waters, so obviously there they are very vulnerable from the security perspective or the molestation perspective. At the same time, there are issues like this scheme is also bringing up the employment opportunities, and that's because a lot of plumber, the job opportunities will come out, and also about a skill development. New technologies have been upgraded here. Okay, it is using the gravity in hilly areas. It is using gravity. Okay, there are no connections. All right, then. This Jal Jeevan Mission is very important right now, because it is considered to be one of the flagship program of the present government, and by 2024 it promises to every household should get the tap connections and safe drinking water. Okay, this will also remove the caste discriminations in the society, because when you go out and fetch water, okay, from a public well or from a public tube well, so there again the caste discrimination takes place at various locations in your country. Now you don't have to do that going outside, so definitely your caste discrimination will also be removed. So you see that a particular scheme, okay, is having a lot of important dimensions from different angles, so you need to be very thorough about this particular fact. All right, So we'll move ahead to the next important news, and that is about, but before that, let me just talk to you and ask you if everything is going fine. Okay, and okay, so make sure please provide the PDF of the topic discussed today. I skipped the first part because of some issue. All right, sure, I'll definitely do that. You will get the PPTs, okay, of each class in your WhatsApp groups. I hope you also received the PPT of the last class, that is of 29th of this particular month. All right. Okay, so we are moving ahead now with the next particular news. So it is about a Limited Liability Partnership Act. Okay, now this is again an important topic that we can talk about from our exam perspective. Basically important from your GS3, okay, from your GS3 syllabus. And here you can see that the Union Cabinet on Wednesday cleared the amendments to the LLP Act. Now this act actually came in 2008. Okay, you can see here that this act actually came in 2008. Okay, but it came into effect in 2009, because once you pass it in your once you pass it in your parliament, and after that it takes some time to get implemented. So it was implemented and came into effect since 2009 after 1 year. So please remember this particular year that it came in 2008, because since it is in news and some new amendments have been passed in this Limited Liability Partnership Act. So definitely in APSC prelims you may get a question where they might ask you about the year when it was passed, when it became an act, and when it came into effect. So 2008 and 2009. So please be very specific about this. Now, what is the actual amendment? It is like it is decriminalizing various offenses and permitting LLPs to issue non-convertible debentures are among the changes between proposed under the Limited Liability Partnership Act. Now, this statement is having a lot of technical information. So I hope you are clear with this, even if you're not. Okay, now first of all, if I ask you what is the difference between a debenture and a bond, okay, because this is economics, this is pure economics, and this is different types of investment. And if I just give you a small example, a bond is always coming with a security or a collateral, okay, but a debenture is not having a collateral or a security. So there is a basic difference between debenture and bond. I cannot go into details beyond this because this is not a GS class, this is just a current affairs class. In a current affairs class, it is expected that you are thorough with the GS and you are thorough with the concepts of different static portion of the syllabus. So if you're not, then please refer to our foundation course of prelims, which is available in the app. And now they are decriminalizing a lot of offenses. Now why this is so? So that it can actually create an enabling environment for business to be done in our country. Okay, now there are different types of companies. I hope you know that. For example, we have a Indian Partnership Act. Okay, the Indian Partnership Act, under it, okay, there can be different partners in a particular business. Okay, now in that particular business, suppose there are two partners, A and B. Okay, now if A does some corruption or some illegal activities under that company, or that they have established under the Indian Partnership Act, now even B is liable to that corruption act or to that illegal act. Okay, now suppose B doesn't have any idea about what A is doing, but since they are partners within Indian Partnership Act, okay, so B will be also liable. Okay, now that is why it creates a negative impact on the enabling environment of our business in India. So that is why government came up with a Limited Liability Partnership Act. Okay, now there in the Limited Liability Partnership Act, even if A is doing some illegal activities, B's liability towards the company, if A is doing it, is very limited. And that is why people now prefer to come under Limited Liability Partnership and not under Partnership Act. Okay, so Limited Liability Partnership is a partnership in which some or all partners have limited liability. Okay, I hope you understood this point. It therefore exhibits elements of partnerships and corporations, and in an LLP, one partner is not responsible or liable for another person's misconduct or negligence. So I hope you have understood. This is very simple, and this can be asked in your exam too. Okay, now what are the salient features of an LLP? LLP is a body, corporate, and a legal entity. Obviously it is under the LLP Act of 2008. Okay, and it is separate from its partners. Okay, so LLP becomes a separate entity itself. But for example, if you are running a proprietorship firm, okay, so you are looked as an individual in the name of the firm, okay. But here LLP itself is a different entity, and the partners will be different entities, okay. So it has perpetual succession, okay. Perpetual long term. So being the separate legislation, the provisions of Indian Partnership Act 1932, okay. So I was talking about initially we had the Indian Partnership Act, that is 1932, then we have LLP of 2008, and then again we have the Companies Act of 2013. So please try to remember this chronological order of the three important acts along with the year 1932, 2008 and 2013, okay. So the provisions whatever was there in your Indian Partnership Act of 1932 are not applicable to an LLP, and it is regulated by the contractual agreement between the partners, okay. So this under the Indian Partnership Act, it is actually regulated by the mutual agreement or the contractual agreement that is signed by the partners, but LLP will be regulated in a different manner, and it is not having the provisions of Indian Partnership Act. Every limited liability partnership shall use the words limited liability partnership or its acronym LLP as the last words of its name, okay. So if there is a company name, okay, then you have to write the LLP. So I hope you are understanding this particular fact. Now if you look after the composition of an LLP, every LLP shall have at least 2 designated partners, so minimum. So this kind of statements can be asked in the exam or in the prelims, all right. So minimum आपको 2 designated partners चाहिए एक LLP firm बनाने के लिए, being individuals, at least one of them being resident in India, okay. So at least out of those 2, one should be a resident of India, and okay, and all the partners shall be the agent of the limited liability partnership, okay. So दूसरा जो partner होगा, that is an agent of the LLP company, लेकिन but not of the other partner members, okay. So यहाँ पे individual basis पे नहीं, यहाँ पे पूरे like firm के basis में सब सारे काम होते हैं. Why? So that if you are considering one to be the entity or the representative of the other partner, so if the other partner is committing a crime or an illegal activity, so then the liability will also fall on the other person, and that is why it is made liable to the firm, that is the LLP firm. Okay, now what is the need for and significance LLP? A simple one is about the creating the enabling environment of the business. Okay, now LLP format, and also about the exit policies of different partners. Okay, because their liability is very limited in this case. So LLP format is an alternative corporate business, okay, vehicle that provides the benefits of limited liability of a company. ठीक है, तो ये benefit आपको समझ में आएगा, तो ये amendment हुआ है, और ये बहुत सारे, जैसे पहले क्या था एक्चुअली मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि जो LLP है, ठीक है, यहाँ पे बहुत सारे decriminalized offenses थे, or it is actually divided into 2, like one is compoundable and one is non-compoundable. Okay, so compoundable is something like which you can settle it out, okay, without even going to court and everything. The non-compoundable is you cannot settle it out, you have to go to court and everything. ठीक है, so अभी जितने भी compoundable crimes थे, offenses थे, उसको decriminalize कर दिया. Okay, for example छोटे-छोटे offenses. Okay, now why? So that business can run smoothly. Okay, so थोड़ा सा flexible, but allows its members a flexibility of organizing their internal management on the basis of mutually arrived agreement, as in the case of a partnership firm. तो थोड़ा सा यहाँ पे flexible कर दिया है, and this format would be quite useful for small and medium enterprises. Obviously इतने छोटे-छोटे companies इतने बड़े-बड़े documentation लेके काम नहीं कर सकते, so obviously थोड़ा सा flexible बनाना पड़ेगा, तभी ज़्यादा, because अभी as of now in India, if I tell you, I think we have around 1.4 lakhs of LLP companies in India. Okay, so international LLPs are the preferred vehicles of business, particularly for service industry or for activities involving professionals. All right, so this was something about the LLP. Now moving ahead to the next important news, and that is about the clashes on Armenia and Azerbaijan border. Now see, this is not very important from your exam perspective, but since it is in news, you should be knowing about the important areas of this particular area, and I request all of you to go through the prelims capsule course and subscribe it from our app, and also look at the second lecture, or the lecture number 1, where we had discussed in details about the mapping, and where we had discussed about the details of the bordering states of Caspian Sea or different types of water bodies, and we had discussed a lot many things. So please, I request everyone, to those who have not watched it, or those who have watched it but do not remember, please try to revise it up. Okay, so here a very important mountainous ranges is there, and that is a Caucasus mountain. Okay, now Caucasus are the mountains which is like present here and actually sharing a border between Russia and the other countries. Okay, so in this portion, okay, now this Armenia, this is Armenia, you can see here, and this is Azerbaijan. The capital of Azerbaijan is Baku. I told you in the mapping classes because it's an important part of north-south transit corridor where India is also a participant, and this is actually sharing the border with the Caspian Sea. This is the Caspian Sea. You can all look at it, right? So this Armenia and Azerbaijan are part of Transcaucasia or South Caucasia geographical region in the vicinity of the Southern Caucasus Mountains. So this is the Southern Caucasus part, okay, and यहाँ पे Armenia and Azerbaijan दोनों एक में यहाँ पे है, and Caucasus Mountains somewhere is here in this particular belt, okay, where Russia is getting separated from the other countries, and the borders of Eastern Europe and Western Asia consisting of Georgia, Armenia. So इसका location ही देख रहे हैं तो आप देख लो Azerbaijan का surrounding border Russia है, Georgia है, Armenia है, Iran है, and Caspian Sea है. And the Baku, capital of Baku is of Azerbaijan is very important, and Armenia का capital है आपका Yerevan. So please try to remember these capitals. APSC might ask you the capitals of this important particular countries that is in news. So what is the reason for dispute? Nothing. Just एक छोटा सा जगह है that is known as your Nagorno-Karabakh. Okay, यहाँ पे 95% population जो है वो लोग ethnically क्या है? Armenian है. वो लोग Armenia से belong करते हैं, ठीक है? लेकिन उसको control कौन कर रहे हैं? Azerbaijan is controlling it. Okay, and Armenia का जो religion है that is Christian majorly, while Azerbaijan is a Muslim majority country, ठीक है? तो और domestic politics में भी अगर आप देखने चाहोगे तो यहाँ पे the leaders of both the nations have fueled the same issue time to time and again for their vested political interest. So this is all nothing political issues, okay? So you can see here this place called Nagorno-Karabakh is in which area? Azerbaijan area है, लेकिन यहाँ का country का इस particular region का लोग maximum Armenian origin है, Muslim है, लेकिन it is controlled by Azerbaijan. Okay, so this is an important development that you can see here. Apart from that, you know that on the first week of August we are starting with a UGC NET GRF online coaching program, which will be available in an app. You can subscribe it. We have launched a very minimum cost for 3 months press course. Okay, moving ahead, आज अपने देश को जानो, यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं, again this is not very important. Major stakeholder Narayana Murthy, he is the founder of Infosys. Again, he's also having stakes at Cloudtail India, an Amazon subsidiary. All right, and this is the table for your Tokyo Olympics. Please find out 2000 next year Olympics will be held where. All right, now we have the prelims questions for that particular day, 29th. You can go through it and please write your answers in the comment box. Answers have been given here, but please don't look at it. Try to attempt it on your own. Okay, try to attempt it on your own. It will actually help you score a lot of important marks in your upcoming exam. We also have one mains practice question. You can look at it. Okay, so that was what we had to discuss from today's class, and we'll be meeting in the next class again, and we'll start the next class after some time in a next link. Okay, not in this link because we have to complete it up, and you will again get your get the link when the class is live. When I'm live, I'll your link will be shared. Okay, you'll be updated in the WhatsApp groups. I hope you are all there in our WhatsApp groups. If you are not there, please join the WhatsApp group. The description has been given. The link of the WhatsApp group has been given in the description box, and you can also call the given number if you want any further details about the institute or upcoming courses, or if you want to join the offline classes, which is going to start from next month, September, for next year APSC prelims and UPSC prelims, which will be in the form of the foundation course in Guwahati. Please contact the given number in the description box. Okay, so let's meet after some time. We can take a small lunch break. We'll start with the current affairs of 30 July 2021. We have completed 29 July. So please, yes, Samiksha, very good. It will be held at Brisbane. If you are liking this initiative, please do give us your feedback in our Google or Facebook or YouTube or in the app, or even you can write in the comment box here. Okay, if you like our if you want this course to get modified or to get changed in some form, please do let me know, okay, in the comment section, or you can write to us, or you can also review it, give us review in all the social media platforms. So let me know if you need any changes. Okay, and if you like it, please do write some positive message for us, for our team, so that our team gets motivated to bring such kind of lecture series in the upcoming exam in a continuous manner. Okay, so we'll be continuing with the 30th July. After some time, you will be posted in the and updated in the link. Till then, thank you so much. Please go go through and refer to the lecture if you have joined in between, and if you have missed it, please adhere to it completely. Okay, we had discussed many important news articles from 29 July 2021. Thank you so much, and bye bye, and take care.